So let's say we want to encrust one of the ornaments with stones. I mean, that's not far-fetched, right? Could very well look pretty cool. So maybe we want to encrust this ornament with stones, and maybe we just hide our garnet for a second. Oh wait, that's the other side. So let's hide our garnet for a second. And now let's go in here, go under curve, and let's give this the same object profile as the ring band. Let's see if that already works. Ring bevel shape. Nope, that looks absolutely hideous. So let's just give it a profile again. So we have some options here, pre-made options, but they all not as I want them. I mean, this looks pretty nice as well, right? But I'm probably going to give this its own shape. Okay, so I will create another. By the way, all these rounds, if you want to select them all at once, you can go to select link or Shift L and click object data, and this will select all those stones which were created together. And then you can put them into another new collection called side stones or something. All right, and then you can just clean up in your viewport once more. Select the bevel object again and call that Ornament Bevel Shape. Let's now insert the ornament bevel shape. So that is a lot too big, so let's scale that down a lot, like that. Okay, and my aim here was to have a clean surface where we could put all those stones. Now this is interfered by this nice little ornament here, and we have a few options what we could do. Of course, we can shorten that ornament, or we can just scale it down so that it does not get in the way, and then we don't have to delete anything. We can just get rid of it by scaling it down, like that. And the same goes for this piece here, which is kind of in the way a little bit as well, and we can scale it down with Alt S. That just makes it so easy to move stuff out of the way. This one is a little bit trickier because when we scale it down, the whole shape gets lost a little bit. But for that, we can just take our ornament that we want to work on now and maybe just slightly bring that up around Z. Okay, so that it has its own space above the rest of them. Okay, and then we can adjust the shape a little bit. So, and once you're pleased with that, and we think, okay, now I want to put some diamonds on there, you might guess how that is going to go. So first, let's create a new gem, a diamond. Let's select the curve and let's say distribute on curve. The thing is, they get distributed on the curve that is lying flat, not on the curved version. You might remember that this curve has a curve modifier and it's originally there. Okay, so that does not work. So what we have to do here is we actually have to apply the modifier. Okay, and that might change something about the looks of it, probably the tilt or the scaling, but we can just bring it back to how we want it. And we can also scale this up a little bit again, or do some other stuff that helps us bring it back to its original shape. And also, of course, we can adjust the shape of our little curve here. And if I zoom in here, I can make it a little bit broader because right now it is pretty flat. Like that. All right, so that looks cool to me. And now I think we can work with this curve. Our diamond still sits here, so we can select it and we can select the curve and let's do distribute on curve. So now it should look very different. It looks kind of crazy here, but as you know, we can adjust all of that. So first let's set the tilt to 0. Let's set the offset lower, maybe tilt it into this direction. I think we need to tilt them 90 degrees. We might have to offset, oh, that's the wrong 90 degrees. We might have to offset them like that. So I'm just going there by eye. I don't have a recipe for that. And then we can increase the count. And here, this distribution percentage comes into play. And you can already see the result here, and it looks quite nice. However, of course, there are still sunken into the metal, and we need to do something about that eventually. So we can change the distribution, because not all the way to the end there are going to be stones. There might be not enough space, so we can change the distribution until it is kind of here maybe. By the way, if you now move the curve up a little bit, because I noticed that I would like to have this piece here come up a little bit towards the outside, you see that the stones move with it. Okay, so you can adjust the shape of the ornament and the stones will act accordingly, which is pretty damn neat. All the stones have gotten a follow path constraint, okay? So it's similar to when I set the camera to always look at the ring, or the light always to point at the ring. They have gotten this follow path thing here. If you want to now redistribute those stones, because you notice that here they overlap a little bit and we don't want that. We always want a little bit of space between the stones. You can just select all those rounds again. You can always do Shift L and select linked and then select the curve. And then you can click on redistribute. And this will give you the same menu. And I just have to recommend the add-on again and again. So if I go in here, I want to change the end, because the stones here, they are not visible, okay? And in this way, I noticed that I need less stones than I initially thought, maybe 18. And now we can also change the beginning of the curve a little bit. And always you can click redistribute if you need the new placement of the stones. And maybe we also want to change the offset a little bit. And maybe you need to adjust those a little bit by hand, because of course, if you scale the different parts of the curve with Alt-S differently, the offset of the stones will be different according to that. So maybe you have to move some of the stones. Make sure you always only move them in object mode. And now you have a really nice pavé on your ornament. Okay, so let's select those all and also give them their own collection. Call it ornament stones or something. There you go. And we can turn on the side stones again. And in that way, we can really build our design, and we can give the other curves, of course, we could give them now the same profile, the bevel, okay, and we could give this one the same as well, and then we could put stones on there as well. And it would be pretty easy. You can just select one of those stones, Shift D, delete the follow path constraint. This should put it back into the center. Select the next curve, distribute on curve. Okay, and then just work with the offset and everything until it is where you want it to be. Well, where is it actually? Ah, it's down there. Of course, because I forgot to apply the curve, okay? So that's just important to note for you, that you need to apply the curve modifier and put the curve actually where it is, so that we can adjust it here. And then we can do the same, distribute on curve, like that. Put it up like that. Increase the count. Change start and end positions, like that. Decrease the count again. And in that way, build your own wonderful design. And here as well, we might have to adjust the curve a little bit. We have to bring it up a little bit so that it is not obstructed by the rest. Just bring it up slightly, like that. And there you go. Nicely done.